Orale vatos! I hope you guys are having an incredible time with your family during this holiday season, but that doesn't stop the fact of an international child trafficking network that still exists and is actively being covered up. So that's why in this video we're going to talk about, the story of the decade that's being outright ignored, once again by the mainstream media, as well as other news about, just your technological enslavement. All this provided to you by, guess who? Not the mega corporations, not the technocrats, definitely not the statists, definitely not the intelligence agencies that have a lot of control over, quote, news industry. Now, this broadcast is provided by you through your support on wearechange.org/donate. And because you guys still support us, sincerely thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And there's many ways you could be involved, even ways without spending a dime on wearechange.org/donate. And I hope you get involved during this important, critical time. Now, jumping just right into the news and the meats and potatoes of this video, of course, what I was talking about before was the Jeffrey Epstein scandal, which again, on its own merits, on just the people connected here, is a massive, huge story that almost implicates every aspect, especially the high-level aspect of our society. But yet again, it's being treated like it's not that important. And trust me when I say this, oh, it is. And there are still many dangerous criminals on the loose right now that have been able to escape justice, leaving a trail of thousands of innocent children that were viciously, horribly, unspeakably attacked here. And with these monsters still on the loose, with no accountability, no justice, and no transparency, we are actively seeing a cover-up happening right now in front of our very eyes. One of the most sinister proportions that is trying to convince you that somehow it still has your best interest at heart, when again, it clearly doesn't. And that's been pretty much personified by the fact that two of the closest associates to Jeffrey Epstein, who may or may not be deceased, Pinocchio Prince Andrew, and submarine helicopter driving Ghislaine Maxwell, who are scot-free, running around doing whatever they please as free individuals when they have very, very serious allegations against them, including Ghislaine Maxwell, which, by the way, in many people is seen as a person who was above Jeffrey Epstein. Since, of course, it was documented that it was Jeffrey Epstein that was the one that couldn't control himself, the one that needed a release every 2 hours, the one that had a serious problem, and very significant one, not only mentally, but also physically, dealing with intimacy, which is, and that's putting it lightly, and this is one of the characteristics that you would see in a fall guy, in a dupe that's being used by a system or intelligence agency that's running a larger extortion trafficking operation, which this clearly all was. Now, Prince Andrew, who has again implicated himself more than anyone in this entire scandal by giving an interview where essentially made the world see how guilty and nefarious he really was. Well, he still hasn't even been questioned, and the police in the United Kingdom are literally spending thousands of taxpayer dollars on gender-inclusive hats and investigating people for making meme quotes on the internet. They don't want to even question Prince Andrew on the many accusations against him. He also has diplomatic immunity, and if you remember, he pleaded and said that he was going to help the authorities, the federal authorities here in this case, the FBI, investigate Epstein. So that still hasn't happened. That's a big reminder that people need to be reminded of, since again, this should be front page news that this Pinocchio pedo prince, who promised to assist the federal authorities, well, he's not really doing anything except sending dog butt holiday cards. Yep, he is sending around photos of hairy dog buttholes as an official Christmas card, which is a strange choice, especially for a disgraced royal family member who was kicked out of the family. And again, he was ordered not to attend the traditional Christmas morning service for the supposed royal family, and essentially has been downranked to someone lower than the groom of the stool, with even his own mother, the queen, refusing to be photographed with him. And this, again, we need to understand here, is all public theater, because Prince Andrew deserves to be behind bars. And even though he's getting the cold shoulder from his royal family, this is nothing. This is nothing compared to the actions that do deserve to be taken here. But this brings me to the next bigger psyop and disinformation that we're seeing, and that is the news that just came out moments ago that the FBI is confirming that they are investigating Ghislaine Maxwell because of her Epstein ties, along with allegedly other people who, quote, facilitated the trafficking operation that was run by most likely an intelligence operation. Daily Caller even linking Epstein, saying that he was a top spy for Israeli Mossad. This according to a former associate of Epstein who's claiming this. Now, I know some people are excited by this news. Some people see this news as a glimmer of hope to finally expose the deep-rooted corruption in our system. And I have to give people the sad reality check that no, that's definitely not the case here. Now, this story has been confirmed by Reuters, and the source of this information are two law enforcement officials who are familiar with this investigation. And this story does look legitimate. But again, this raises a lot of important questions, which even the New York Post highlighted in their title of this story, saying feds finally start investigating Jeffrey Epstein's gal pal, Ghislaine Maxwell. Well, if you look at this, the seriousness of this story, she's not just the gal pal. She essentially, according to many of the witnesses, is the person in charge and the main pimp here. And it took them this long, almost a half a year, to finally even just to start opening up the book here, to finally start paying just a little bit of attention, to finally be like, well, you know, there's a whole bunch of witnesses. And what this is what it always has been. Another step in the cover-up psyop in order to appease the masses, because, let's just be honest here, the feds have been in on it from day one, including U.S. Attorney General William Barr, who is supposed to be the lead investigator here, that shortly after Epstein's, quote, suicide, without even looking at all the evidence, said, yeah, Epstein was definitely suicided. Calling this also a perfect storm of mistakes that have happened that led to this suicide. But essentially, why would it take this long to finally start looking into this? What kind of head start did Ghislaine Maxwell have, who, by the way, is somewhere on the run that can't be found? Already, the evidence has been most likely destroyed that implicated her, since this is the reoccurring situation that has been happening with Jeffrey Epstein, who, according to a top cop in Miami, was always tipped off before a major raid and was able to successfully hide his tracks. He also paid double for a cement truck on his pedo island to be delivered quickly after finding out that he was under investigation. These investigations are all shams. This is why they always take forever to actually get to the thing that it was supposed to be doing. Even the raid after Epstein's suicide on Epstein's island took quite a while, with stuff already being moved, transported out, and destroyed as the feds sat on their butts. And overall, if it wasn't for the feds aiding and abetting this monster for decades, he wouldn't be able to do what he did. So the feds, for over 10 years, allowed this operation to continue. And this is why the feds are also going to be covering up the bigger truths of what actually happened here and hiding a lot of other powerful individuals that are, of course, implicated here. In related news, someone that couldn't run away from his accusers was a priest in northern France that was killed and tortured by young boys who claimed that it was the priest who was attacking them and physically abusing them before. Now, in totally unrelated news, the same system of injustice that protects, aids, and abets and runs major child trafficking operations that leave thousands of children abused, well, that same system is also working on a track, trace, and database system with some of the largest corporations in this world, including Amazon, that was just awarded a new patent, and by the way, also works with the Pentagon, that is going to be using your hand to recognize and track you in its cashierless grocery store. Yes, frickin' Terminator is here, and yet another weird, strange way. I'm expecting the rectal probes to get in there by Amazon as you're walking through their convenient cashierless stores, but surprisingly, now they're doing hand recognition, which you will be able to, quote, use your handprint to pay for items. Remember the mark of the beast, that you'll have some kind of device that will be all knowing. Well, you don't need a microchip or a mark of the the frickin' Amazon already figured out a way to not even put a microchip in there, with the system capturing the details of your wrinkles and veins in your palm in order to uniquely identify you. Yeah, I'm not too happy about that one, since, of course, our data is being abused against us by very powerful special interests that take every little bit of information about you and then sell it to the highest bidder. This is, by the way, also one of the reasons why TVs are as affordable as they are. That's because they're smart TVs. I remember earlier this year looking for a non-smart TV, and literally it was one of the biggest headaches that I had to deal with. But finally, after traveling all the way to Pennsylvania from New York City, I was able to get a smartless TV that didn't track, trace, database, have cameras and microphones in it that essentially spy on you, so the technocrats could sell you more useless crap that you don't need. Just something worth remembering this holiday season here. Also, this holiday season, the government indebted itself to a tune of another $1.4 trillion, and in that same spending bill, killed a major access to medical marijuana, especially in the banking sphere, and other red tape and regulations and other bullcrap that the government is so well known for. Chicago also recently decided to double its food and drink tax at restaurants, since these sniffling criminals and drug addicts can't get enough of their government that is so efficient that it's driving up food and drink prices, needing the extortion money to run its criminal enterprise. And while all of this is happening, while there's so much important things to worry about when it comes to child trafficking, when it comes to the global surveillance state stealing your data information, you being taxed, regulated, extorted to the fullest extent, what does the supposed man of the people, Michael Moore, the man of the working class, see as the problem here? Not any of those issues that I mentioned. No, but it's all white people. You being born with a specific pigment to you, you are the problem. Yes, thank you, Michael Moore, for being a man of the people and actually, what the family-friendly show, no cursing here. Well, I'm a total loss for that reaction. What's your reaction? Let me know in the comment section below. What is the proper reaction to have to Michael Moore down below? Let me know in the comment section below. I flabbergasted. by the lunacy and insanity and the number of people letting people down with just total mental retardation. But because you're not a part of the mental retardation, idiocracy, destruction of our soul, I thank you. Because you're the one who still thinks, you're the one who still watches these videos, and you're the one making sure these videos get out there against everything else suppressing it, trying to silence this voice. And because you do that, love you guys. Thank you again so much for watching. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.